Today I'm going to focus on only two skills. The reading skill and the writing skill, which is more important for you. Right? Before I do that, I have got your email addresses already, those who attended my last seminar. But if you want to keep in touch with me, I'll pass this round. Send me your email address, or write down your email address so that I can keep in touch with you, or you keep in touch with me. If you don't want to, if you have already written it before, forget it, ignore it. Okay, let's move into this. We're going to start with the writing, which is more challenging. Now, this is the general part. How long is the writing test? 1 minute.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
How many tasks? How many of you are general training in this room?
General training.
Okay, good. And academic? Alright, so I have to address both general training and academic. General training students, tell me, what do you do for task 1? Very good, wonderful. And academic students, task 1? Alright, everybody, for task 2, what do you have for task 2? Alright, that's pretty easy. Essay writing. And what type of essay do you have? Argumentative, problematic, opinionated.
5 times positive and negative.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, those are the different types of essays. Now, what is being assessed in the writing test? What do you actually have to look into? The examiner looks into the content of the test, the organization of your ideas, how you organize and produce something for the examiner to mark, your accuracy and range of vocabulary and grammar. Those are the things that you're being marked on basically. So that's what you should be focusing at. And of course, which task carries more marks? Task 2. So can we write task 2 and then come back to task 1?
Yes.
Possible?
Yes.
But it's your choice. You look at the questions, you get both the questions together, you look at the questions, it's up to you. If you want to do task 2 first, well done. Task 1 first, all up to you, nothing much. General training. We all know it's a letter. So, what do we have to do when we get a letter? We need to identify which type of letter. What type of letter do we get?
Informal, semi-formal.
Good. Opening and closing the letter correctly carries a different marking system. So we need to do that properly. If it is a formal letter, we need to open with a formal statement. Dear Sir, Madam, and the language needs to be formal. Look at example. I'm writing to inquire about. I'm writing in connection with. Formal or informal language? Formal language. For an informal letter, general, friendly paragraph. Here we can address just with the name of the person directly. We do not have to address with dear sir or madam. Then we need to identify the main purpose of the letter. What are we writing? What are they actually asking us? And how many words is the minimum?
150.
Well done. Can we write 149 words? What happens? We can, of course.
Yes,
What
we can.
happens?
Cut them out.
Not cut. The language is score goes down. So how long or how much can you write for task 1?
Minimum
150 to 160.
160 to 190.
Less than 200 is advisable. Okay, less than 200. Correct spelling, important or not important?
Sorry, I didn't
Very important. Now, for closing of the letter, if you start with dear sir, madam, what is usually advisable? How would you close the letter?
Faithfully.
Sincerely is actually used if you know the name of the person. So that is more advisable to use there. Dear Mr. Rahman, dear Mr. Alex, end it with yours sincerely. Dear sir, madam, regards. Okay? Informal, I don't have to say. You can end it with any note you like. That's kind of flexible. Very, very flexible. Now moving up. Bullet points. Do we need to include bullet points when we're writing? No? I'm talking about the question. In the question, this is a sample question, and this question is based on what? What's the question talking about? Part-time job. Yeah? In the part-time job, there are 3 bullet points of the questions. Now, these 3 bullet points needs to come in 3 thank you very much. 3 different paragraphs. 3 distinct and different paragraphs. If you write 2 bullet points in 1 paragraph, kind of okay, but you have to be specific. The examiner is looking for organization, remember. Content, organization, grammar, vocabulary. So it is easier for the examiner to mark when you focus each bullet point into different paragraphs, so the examiner can easily match. You see that where your scores go higher? Okay. Coming to academic, we have it is diagrams, yes? Yes. Alright. What type of a diagram is this? Bar chart. Just a process. Okay, just a process. Maps. If you're lucky, how many diagrams do you get on your question paper? 1. If you're more than lucky, 2. So you could be more. These are some of the languages we could use for writing. And if we say slight decline, which one would refer to slight decline? Yes. Reach the peak of?
First one.
Remain steady? Steep decrease? And leveling out? You see, so it matters. The language that you use really, really matters. Now, advice. Look at the advice. I'll give you a minute to look at the advice and let me know which one you find not clear. Can everybody see? Yes. Okay. Does it make sense? Any point which is confusing? So when you get a diagram, if I just ask you one of the questions, when you get a diagram, what should you do? Okay, that's quite important. What else is important? Can we quote down all the figures that we see in the diagram?
No.
Finding the
Key
key
points.
Over
Key
here, we
features.
don't use the word key points for
main
diagrams.
features.
Main features. That's much better, yes.
Main
Main features and comparisons. The differences, the comparisons. Very, very important. So we don't need to write about each and everything that we see. Now, when we see the diagram, do we need to give our opinion about the diagram?
No.
Very important. Candidates often go offline trying to explain. We are not doing any explanation here. We are only doing description.
In this point, you are saying that we should focus on what these are rather than why. Okay, so
You did understand? Okay. All right. Can I move on?
And can you explain the fifth point? What is logical order?
What is logical order?
Logical order means if there is a line graph and you're trying to explain the different stages, should you start from the middle one, the end one, and then come back to the first one? That's the logical order. So you go sequentially. That's a logical order.
But in case of the pie chart, what may be?
Pie chart, it's a circle. You can start eating your pizza from any end. But when you start eating your pizza, try to start with the very significant one. The significant slice. Yes? The significant slice, which is eye-catching, which you just look at the diagram, oh, okay, this is my biggest piece. This is my smallest piece. That's where you start from. Yes.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
You told that we need not to describe all informations in graph, table, or like that.
Yeah.
But if the graph or chart contains little information, then what should we do?
Use that. If it contains little information, you just describe whatever it contains. And usually, the diagrams are not that candidates will not have much to explain about. If the figures are only few, try to make comparisons, bring out what is the important part, and then just write on that.
Yeah.
You just don't need to go like, in 2001, this happened, 2002, this happened. That is irrelevant. Okay?
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Maybe the examiner will not be happy to read the rest of your writing. You keep writing, but it will be unread. So where is the marking coming from? Yeah? Okay. Going to talks 2, general training and academic training both have the same type, essay. So when you have essay, what do you have to do? You have to organize into different paragraphs and write in complete sentences. I'm still emphasizing on this. This is a very important and valid point. What is a sentence? How do you write a sentence? Who remembers? What does a sentence start with? Subject. Oh, good. You don't remember what I want. All right. What does a sentence start with? Think that you are a schoolboy. You're in class 1. Sorry? Introduction, a sentence with introduction? Indeed. Good. But simply, if you think that you are a student of class 1, primary 1, and you're being taught about a sentence.
Subject, verb, object.
Class 1 student? What will a class 1 student?
Tense.
No.
Word. Just word.
Simple. Capital letter. The sentence finishes with
Full stop.
It's very simple but very, very important. Why? Because candidates get carried away. They're so enthusiastic. Yes, they're doing an exam. Keep writing.
Yeah.
Forget to put a full stop. Forget to start a sentence with a capital letter. What happens? 2 sentences join and becomes 1 sentence. Examiner, he or she is at a loss. How will he or she give you a mark for that?
Right.
Very important, very important. Write in complete sentences. And repetition of words and ideas, try avoiding it. What's slang in IELTS? Because you don't
Yeah, informal ways.
Good. Example?
No,
No, contraction is allowed. But try not to use it. Exactly. Those are slangs. Try.
Going to.
Doesn't is kind of allowed, but that's a contraction. Okay, that's a proper English word. But the word gonna, what does gonna mean?
Going
to.
Why am I going to write gonna and decrease my score level? No point. I'm going to write in full, right? Thoughtful and neutral tone. If it is, you're writing a proper academic IELTS. So, I hate this idea. Too excited or angry. Is that a nice way to express?
No.
You said the idea has some problems to consider. You see the different language. You mark automatically. You don't have to do anything much. And how many words are you going to write?
250.
149? Sorry, 249?
Yeah.
No, ma'am.
What happens?
Can reach the task response.
Diminishing the
Thank you
number.
very much. It affects the task response. Yes? How much can you go up to?
Less than
300 very much, yes. Less than 300 number of words. Now the structure, planning, how many paragraphs should you have? 4 to 5. The first one is
Introduction.
then together. Conclusion. Right? So if you have 5, you have a further body paragraph. When will you have a further body paragraph?
Argumentative.
No, depending on the question. When you have more points to write, when you can develop more points, that's when you have that. For opinion, usually, for example,
Body paragraph.
supporting your main topic sentence, that will be included there.
Yeah.
But further body paragraph depends on the question tag. If you have more points to develop your essay on, that is when you go for that. Otherwise, limit it to
4 paragraphs.
4.
now. Number of words, how many did we say?
250 to
Let me
300.
give you a rough idea how you are going to organize the 250. For introduction, go for
30 to 40.
for body paragraph 1.
60 to 80.
So that remains 80 plus 40
120.
plus 80
250.
minus 250.
50.
50 words.
So conclusion could be
30 to 50 words.
30 to 50. If you're having a 5th paragraph, the adjustment will be here.
30, 60.
I'm not saying this is final. This is just a rough idea. So that one paragraph is not that big and the other paragraph is not this much and you balance your essay. Okay? The other part is time management, which is quite important. Now, how long do you have for task 2?
40 minutes.
40 minutes, ideally. Ideally. So the first 5 to 7 minutes, or even it can go up to 10 minutes. But what should you do? What will you do in your planning? This is very important. Develop your points. What are you going to write? Very, very important. And then ensure that they're in logical order before you start writing. When you start writing, how long can you write for? 25 to 30 minutes. Enough. So 30 plus 7.
37.
That leaves you?
3 minutes.
So between 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah. And what do you look out for? Spelling. Very, very important. Okay? Moving up. We know this.
Question.
Yes, please.
Before the, the earlier slide, there's a further body. Can you please give an example for that? I mean,
This one?
what type? Yes. I mean, what type of question will be there?
For the further body
Yes.
paragraph. So you have a question maybe on the traffic rules. Question about a traffic rule or something like that, and maybe advantages and disadvantages. So what type of advantages would you have for a traffic rule, and what advantages would you have? So if you can develop your point, maybe the traffic rule ensures everybody's safety, ensures safety. For example, one topic could be safety. The other topic could be, what could it be another topic?
Time saving.
Could be time saving. What could you develop as another paragraph? Maybe the other part of traffic rule.
Reduce condition.
Sorry? Congestion?
Reduce condition.
Okay. So you're kind of having a number of points to develop on. So if you think you have a lot to write for safety with supporting sentences, an example goes there. The second point, it goes there. And the third point, that's when you have the further body paragraph. But if you think that there aren't any more points, always limited to 2 body paragraphs. Are you clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving up, we all know this. Alright, you've all seen this. This is a public thing on the website. This is what I'm going to discuss. discuss, and this is very important. Tax 1 is marked on 4 different criteria. Yes or yes?
Yes.
And we know these 4 different criteria. Yeah? Now, looking into the first one, we have something called the clear overview. So what is the clear overview for tax 1? In band 7, it says, presents a clear overview of main trends, differences, or stages. A summary of the most important trends, differences, or stages. Usually, one sentence is enough, but you can write with sentences. Now, what is this? Usually in the introductory paragraph. Then we have cohesive devices. Do we understand cohesive devices?
Yes.
This is both for tax 1 and tax 2. Because clear position, that is in tax 1, overall trend, that is in tax 1 only. Not for general training, but for the academic. Not for the letter. We're talking about the academic tax 1. Now, over here, band 7 uses a range of cohesive devices appropriately. And what are the cohesive devices? Very important, because this carries separate marking together, right? Now, the taxes is important. The challenge over here is using them within the sentences, between and within the sentences, more than just listing and ordering. These are the common ones.
Yes.
But we will look into something which is more exactly. So listing and ordering, these are the common ones. For adding information, what do we have? Okay. For contrast, what do we have? Good. Give me examples.
For instance,
Opinion. Okay. Reasons and causes. Okay. Concluding. Alright. These are very common ones. But look at this. The less common ones. Where will your marks increase? First of all, you said to begin with, first and foremost. You see the slight difference. The slight difference will carry your marks higher. It's not that not using it or underusing it. That's not it. Just trying to be a little different when the examiner gets your script. Okay? Try not to use it at the beginning of sentences. It can often be used within the sentences. Look at this. Strict punishment, on the other hand, is not an effective solution. Instead of saying, on the other hand, strict punishments are not an effective. You see the slight difference. This makes a big one. The little thing that you do carries or makes, but it doesn't mean that you should do this throughout your essay. It has to be somewhere where the examiner can pick that up and give you the scores. Okay? Next is referencing and substitution. What is that? In band 5, that's under coherence and cohesion. It says may be repetitive because of lack of referencing and substitution. Band 6 says may not always use referencing clearly or appropriately. Band 7 says uses referencing and substitution clearly and appropriately. This is where your band score differs. 6. Now, what do we mean by this and this? Right? Is using words differently instead of repeating it. How? And references is when we refer back to things we said without repeating that word or phrase. I am talking here, right? And I'm sure you're all going to sit for exams and you are aiming here. Yes? This is why I brought this in for you. Now, what is that? Not substitution. Not repeating the words too often. Look at this example.
My cat is repeated 4 times. 5 times.
Can we use words which are like different other
Yes.
than my cat?
Yeah, eat,
My pet.
she, my pet, something else.
Eats.
Always keep your
Yeah, okay. And look at that.
She, my kitty, right.
You see the difference?
Yes.
This is where your marks come in. Instead of using that, that's the first one used, but for the whole paragraph, look at the whole thing.
Using
But
the pronouns.
exactly, not only the pronouns. This is my kitty, my feline friend, adjective.
Yes.
You see that? Not only pronouns. You use different words, not to use the same word. It could be different parts of speech. This is where your marks come in automatically. Moving up, let's come to referencing. What is referencing? Now, referencing can be with pronouns like it, they, etc. It can also be with this. This is, or this plus
Now.
Now, example. Some people think that the government should pay for education, and I agree with this. So what is this referring to?
Government should pay.
Pay
You
for
see
education.
how we're kind of trying to put our point forward without repeating. That's coherence and cohesion. Yeah? We can also use the former, the latter. We can also use respectively instead of repeating the same words. Right? So, for example, in task 1, we could say the price of gold was $100 while that of silver stood at 50. What did we repeat here?
The price.
Instead of the price, we used while. You see the difference?
Yes.
Look at another one.
respectively.
What are we referring to?
Price of gold.
You see the difference?
Yes.
So that makes a big difference in your score. Right? Also, that's another one from this year onwards, and then you can point it out. For task 2, referencing, useful phrases like this essay will discuss 2 reasons why I agree with this view. Right? These are the different ways of putting forward your different ways. The clear position under referencing and substitution. In task response, it says presents a clear position throughout the response. Now we're talking about task 2. Okay. Now what's the clear position in task 2? There are 2 types of IELTS prompts. One is stating the position, which is point of view, and the other one is given analysis. Now, there would be some prompts here. Which one would be which? Is it going to be stating a position or giving an analysis? Which, thank you. To what extent do you agree or disagree? What are you going to do here? Is it like,
Analysis.
can I give you a...
Yes.
Yes? Just, I'm giving you a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you have a look and see which one would be position and which one would be an analysis? Okay, let's have a look and see if you agree with my answers. Do you agree with number 1? Number 2? Number 3? An opinion is definitely okay. Number 3? 2. Number 4? Number 4 is number 1?
No, number
Number 5? Do you agree? Okay, so this is what is actually being looked into. If you understand the essay, if you can answer it accordingly, where your marks are higher. Yeah?
Yes.
Then what do we have? Yes, do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Examples. These are not very appreciated. Look at these 3 quotes. Sometimes we like to add quotes, but when we are adding quotes, we have to be extra careful. Why? What happens? Every coin has 2 sides, and this is no exception. Where is your point? Is it a clear view? Is it no?
It's a
So this is like very ambiguous. So try to avoid all these type of quotes. And what happens? Don't sit on the fence. Not having either opinion. Give your own opinion. Very important. That is what the essay is asking you to do. Got it? So you should have a clear thing about writing when you are giving out your answers. Okay. Now, less common vocabulary. Coming to the lexical. Uses less common lexical items with some awareness and style, awareness of style and collocation. Do we understand style?
Yes.
What is style? Style of writing.
Using many type of sentence, paraphrasing.
Style. Is it on a formal note? Is it on an informal note? That is style. Collocation?
What goes with
Exactly.
What goes with
This website, Vocabulary Ninja, is a very good website for you to practice that. Collocation. Alright. Well, try Vocabulary Ninja. I don't know if you have it, I cannot go into that. But write that down. Vocabulary Ninja is a very good website for you to practice collocation. Alright? Then, less common vocabulary. Less common vocabulary is what? Less common? This is another very good website. Visual words. Let me see if I can, if they have net connection. Let me give it a little bit of try. Yes, they do. Techno here. I'm not a techno person. Very bad with computers.
Display.
You can change this.
But there is no keep changes. Keep changes.
changes.
No, wait. I think this is fine.
Good. Well done. Thank you. Yeah, look at this. When you type in the word here, and enter, the yellow ball, adjective, green ball is not here, the blue one, now, and this one, these are the different keys for the different types of words that you get. The blue one here it's a part of education. Profession is a part of education. So this is another very, very interesting website for you to learn vocabulary. Right? Now, going back to my presentation. Okay, that's visual words. And then the next thing we should do is nominalization. What's that? That's another part of the sector which gives you marks. For example, you write one sentence like making a noun phrase from a verb. The temperature is rising as a result of global warming. You can change that and instead write the rise of the planet's temperature is a result of global warming. So it's kind of playing around with your essay in different dimensions that will give you boost your scores higher. So nominalization is another important part. Okay? Now, lexical resource, what do you have to be aware of? Vocabulary. You have to be aware of collocation. For example, we all know collocation, yes?
Yes.
Okay. For example, what type of words go with research? Fluctuate, rise, an issue. Again, these websites are simply wonderful. Ausdic.com, just the word .com. Just write down those two websites. It is fantastic for you to very, very effective. For example, let's look at the collocations with these three different words. If we look at that, see, do research, conduct research, carry out research. Yeah? See, so for example, simple example, can we say a tall road and a long building? No. No. Similar. I'm giving you a simple example. This word and long build, tall and long. Basically, it's the same thing. Yeah? But we cannot use it with each and every word. So that is what I mean here. Right. Any questions about writing? I have completed writing. So far, I think I've completed a lot of things in writing to boost your writing up. Any questions about writing? Yes, please.
How many examples should we put on our writing? I mean, if I want to write body 1, then should I have to put an example for body 1 and body 2 as well? I mean, if the question is like discuss both view, then what should I do? for positive, should I give an example, and for negative, should I give an example?
Okay, thank you. The thing is, examples are really like supporting your paragraphs. Okay, having a complete. How would you organize a body paragraph? We need to have a topic sentence. We need to have at least 2 supporting sentences, and maybe finish it off with your example. That is an ideal body paragraph, between 60 to 80 words between. Now, if you don't think you have an example for each of these, ignore it, forget it. That's okay. Because examples do have marking, but the other points have equal marking as well. So example is equally important, at the same time it's not mandatory. You get my point?
Yes.
If you don't have an example, you shouldn't panic, you shouldn't worry. Let it be. Okay? Any other questions on writing? No? Can I move on to this?
Yes.
Right. Reading. Right. Now, for reading, general training and academic, same or different?
Different.
Very, very different. Where is the difference? The first passage of general training. It's so easy. Why? Because you either have to answer questions on an advertisement, flyer, banner, some kind of very small text. Second one, work-related issues. The third one, notices, adverts, company. It's like the passages have differentiated themselves. But for academic, all the 3 passages, where do they come from?
Journals, magazines, books.
Indeed, indeed. That's where the main difference lies between academic and general training. Now, how many? 3 sections, which means 3 passages. Questions? Time?
50 minutes.
So per passage, how long?
20 minutes.
Ideally. But what happens is we see that the level of difficulty always increases. So for passage 1,
17 minutes.
between
15 to 17.
Try. It's only for your betterment, because you can spend those 3 to 5 minutes for the
Last
per
type of
passage. Okay? Right. Now, moving up. Types. You should be very used to with this question types. Is there any question type that you don't understand? Is there anything that you don't understand? You should have practiced everything. Yes? What's number 4? What happens? What's this type of question? You've done it, but maybe you don't know the name. That's called classification.
Maybe the writer's names and
Well, usually there are 3 or 4 options. C, D or A, B, C, and you have to use these 3 options for question number 25 to 30. You've done this type
Yes, we
of,
all-
that's called classification.
Okay.
That's a classification type of question. The other ones are pretty straightforward.
Then point 3 needs to be clear, because sometimes it looks difficult.
Sentence
Sentence
completion.
completion, yeah. Sometimes it looks difficult.
To you. If it looks difficult, go back where? To the passage. Because usually in the sentence completion, they want words from the passage, usually. Yes? In a sentence, there is a gap, and you need to fill that gap with the appropriate word from the passage. That's sentence completion. Okay? Moving up. What are the skills that you're being assessed? Reading for gist, main ideas, detail, understanding inferences and implied meaning, recognizes a writer's opinion, attitudes and purpose, following the development of an argument. Over here, do we understand this one? Understanding inferences and implied meaning.
point of view, writer's point of view.
Exactly. That's right. The hidden meaning within the passage and a question being asked on. These are what your skills are being tested on what the IELTS test is wanting from you. How is it marked? We know this. Each question has got 1 mark, score out of 40, and they're converted to a band score of 9. What's that? Okay, how do you know? How do you know? Yeah, you read the heading. Yes, and there is which edition?
Third
And
edition.
who wrote it?
MacArthur Dictionary.
Yes, this is what we need to do when you get a reading passage. The first thing you do is
Prediction.
and that will refer to headings,
Pictures, titles, subtitles.
titles, subtitles. Why do we need to predict? To set our brain in that manner. We just looked into a book of IELTS. So in our brain, what is going on? When we flip the book, we will read something about IELTS. If you have a heading like Mars being discovered, what will go into your head? Planets, space, solar system. Very important. You have to set your mind within 2 seconds about what you're going to read. And it helps a lot. That's the first skill. The second skill is, we all know that. What does skimming do? What does it bring out?
Quickly read the passage and get the main information.
Exactly. The general understanding of each paragraph. You need to find out what each paragraph denotes. Very, very important. Why is it very, very important? Because once you read the question, instead of reading the whole passage again, you can directly go to that particular area to get your answer. So if you don't have the general understanding of the whole passage and you don't know which paragraph is talking about what, then you have to read the whole passage again to look for your answer. Simply waste of time. Got it?
Yes.
The question. Scanning, because some questions only one word answer, specific information. Some, it could be a date, it could be a word, it could be a number. We only have to focus on one specific thing. That is
Scanning.
And finally, what do you have to do to answer the other questions?
Read in detail.
But where would you read in detail? The whole passage?
No.
That specific area.
area.
Got it?
Yes.
So these steps will save you a lot of time in your reading. Very, very important. And skimming is done in 2 or 3 ways. How do you do skimming? How do you skim a passage? A paragraph.
The first and last sentence.
First of all, don't read both. Just read the first. Just read the first sentence. Try to see if you understand what the paragraph will talk about. Then move to the second paragraph. If you don't understand, that is when you read the last sentence. Okay? And then move to the next paragraph. If again you don't understand after reading the first and the last sentence, try to look for content words in the paragraph. What do I mean by content words?
Keywords.
The words which are kind of being repeated a little bit or which stands out from the paragraph, and try to get the main idea. Again, I'm not advising you to read each and every word. Not important. Waste of time. Never do it. Very, very important. Now, moving on, skimming. Have a look at this. I have kind of taken out words at random, the third process I was talking about. What is this paragraph talking about?
Urbanization.
What about urbanization? Ooh, what happened? I didn't do anything.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so right. What about urbanization? So the paragraph will talk about what? Can I ask you?
Development of urban.
Urbanization, that, yes. Countryside development.
Countryside development?
No. Result of urbanization.
What? Which word will tell you the result of urbanization?
People just come from the rural areas to
How urbanization is
Just
developed?
migrate from the countryside
migrate from
to
the
city
Yeah.
side, and these sort of facilities are then given.
There is a strain on facilities.
Yes.
Which is
Transportation facilities, skyscrapers.
right.
Yes.
Look at the paragraph now. Does it match? Thank you. Does it match?
Yes.
So, first process, read the first sentence. As more people migrate from the countryside, cities around the world are increasingly overcrowded. And then we understand the whole paragraph. Then we read the last sentence. If we don't understand from the first one, after reading the last sentence, okay, we're more interested in gifts. Ah, I like that. If not, we take out words from the middle. You got it?
Yes.
Okay. Moving up. Should we worry about unknown words? How many minutes? How many questions? Yes. All right. Tips for all the skills? I don't think you need that.
No need. We need some.
Okay.
I believe they have some questions for speaking and listening.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the last minute exam tips.
Okay. I have for all the skills.
Yeah.
Can I have 2 volunteers, please?
2 volunteers.
Just come up. Thank you. Take the floor. Another volunteer. Come on, quickly.
Yeah, come.
Quickly. You don't have to do anything much. Very easy work. I'm going to be a student.
Please.
Yeah, and each one of you is just going to read out the tips for the whole class and make sure they understand. Okay? Take over.
Okay. So the first tip is do include a clear overall trend in academic task 1.
Next one.
No need to write a conclusion in academic task 1.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Use proper opening and closing for general training letters.
Structure your letters into paragraphs.
In the writing task 2, you must spend some time thinking and planning before you write the essay.
Agreed?
Be careful of spelling and punctuation.
Don't write too many words when advised to follow a limit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't copy words and phrases from a question while answering it.
What happens if you do that?
Use paraphrasing or
But
synonyms.
if you do this, what happens? Because these words will not be counted as words.
Bad impression to the
Exactly.
exam.
Don't focus too much on task 1, that you can complete task 2 in time.
Okay?
You may write your answers in pencil or pen. Pencil or
Writing you're
writing.
allowed either or. Pencil or pen. A clap for them. Thank you. And a little gift for you. Don't go. A little gift for you. Choose 2 other volunteers before you go and sit.
Another 2.
2 more people. All right.
transfer your answer immediately to the answer sheet as no extra time will be given for the transfer.
Yes.
Don't leave any answer blank. You are not penalized for incorrect answers. So guess wisely.
Okay.
Write your answers in pencil.
Pen allowed?
No.
No. I'll clap for them. Thank you. A little gift for both of you. Thank you very much. Choose 2 more volunteers.
Choose the same.
Choose 2 more. You choose one, and then go and sit down. Okay. If you.
For free.
Okay. Right. Listening. Go on.
Use the 30 seconds given at the beginning of each section to read the question.
Read the instructions carefully.
Listen out for the keywords and common signpost words like on the other hand, in the context, etc.
Okay. Questions usually follow the same sequence as the conversation of time.
Don't get stuck on the question you can't answer, just move on.
Write your answers in the question booklet as usual.
Transfer your answer at the end of the test with correct spelling.
Use the time given to check your answer.
If you can't remember an answer, guys, do not leave a blank answer.
Write your answers in pencil.
Okay. Thank you. A clap for them. 2 gifts for you, and 2 more volunteers before you sit down.
Excuse me?
You call someone.
Any go?
Thank you.
Any go? Okay.
Okay, this is easy. How much?
Here, there is speaking tips to speak in a natural way, fluently and be spontaneous. Okay?
Try to talk as much as you can.
You give preference to grammar.
Don't stay quiet.
Don't memorize answers.
Don't worry about your accent.
Relax and don't get too nervous.
Okay, I'll clap for that. A little gift for you. Thank you very much.
She's nervous.
Sit down.
Don't get nervous. When you are nervous.
Exactly. Finally, we knew about this. Yes? Very quickly. When you appear for the exam, each round of this is marked out of a band score of 9. Everything is added together, divided by 4, and the total band score given to you. What happens in listening? Raw score out of 40. If you get a 16, get a 5. 35?
8.
For reading, since we have 2 sets of questions, 15 out of 40?
5.
General training, 15 out of 40?
4.
It's not, and nothing to do with us. The board there deciding this. For speaking, the 4 criteria, I've already talked about writing in details. 4 criteria: fluency and coherence, grammatical range and accuracy, lexical resource. Accent is not important.
Yes.
We are proud of our accent. What is important is
Pronunciation.
Okay, these are some of the websites which are quite useful. And if you want, take a pic, or if you want, just write them down. Just write them down. And with that, I would like to say thank you very much. See, thank you is here. Good luck. Wish you good luck. Right? So, wish you good luck and best of luck.